Hey, good afternoon guys, it's Steve K2MMT. Hope everyone's doing okay out there. Hey, I got some information I was going to share with you. I've been playing around with CW quite a bit here, and wanted to share with you some ideas I had on how to configure my radio. So I have some of the CW tools where I need them. So I kind of wanted to go through and show you how I'm going to adjust some of these. I've got some settings I like, and I'm going to show them to you. And then I want to show you how to use the quick memory recall. And what I've done is I've gone in there and I've stored some of the SKCC frequencies like 7055, 1405, and a couple of others. And I'll show you how to program that, so you can actually just press this button here and scroll through up to 5 different preset frequencies and modes. So if you wanted to do a couple of them for voice, you could, or you could do it all for sideband. So let me show you what we're going to do here. We're going to go ahead and configure these buttons here. We're going to change these around right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, for F1, I'm going to put what's called the narrow wide. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to FM list. And then I'm going to go to where I see the narrow wide right there. Actually, I need to go to swap. When I press swap right here, this is going to start flashing. Now I'm going to go find the narrow wide, and when I press that, it's going to populate here. So that's what I want there. The next button, what I want is I want this one here to be my width. So we're going to go ahead and go back over here to swap again. This will start flashing, and now we're going to go find width, and it's right there. So now I got width there. Now what we're going to do is the last button is we're going to put shift. Now we got to go back into F3 again, swap 3, and now we're going to go and we're going to find shift. And there's shift right there. When I press it, it's going to populate right there. So now what I've got now is I've got some tools here that I can kind of manipulate some of the bandpass, if you will. So let's go find the signal real quick, and I'll kind of demonstrate how these work real quick. I'm going to use FL Digi to control the VFO. Alright, we got a signal there. So let me show you a little bit about what the narrow wide does. So we'll set this to 0. Now we're at the center of the bandpass. Right now I've got it set to 500, so I'm going to change the, I'm going to press narrow wide once, and that's going to change to 300. Now, when narrow wide is at 300 or narrow, your width adjustment, hold on, I need to touch width, there we go. Your width adjustment is from 50 to 500. So you can move along here and you can go find a CW signal, and if you need to bring that in, let's just see one, let's see. See how I'm making that wider up to 500? So if you got a real tight signal in there and you got other people right on top of you, you can utilize this width tool. Now say for example you want to go a little wider than 500, so what we're going to do now is we're going to switch this guy back to 300. Whoops, I need to get less than 300. Now toggle it one more time. Now I'm in the 300 mode, so I can adjust 300. But if I want to go to the 500 mode, which is the wide, see how I'm at wide where it says W? Now when I go to width, now I can adjust this all the way up to 3000. So like if I wanted to listen to the entire band all the way across here from 3000, you can hear everything. So I'm going to go ahead and change this back to narrow. I'm going to bring this down to 300. So let me show you the other one. The other one is a shift. We're going to leave this at 300. That's a pretty good pass to work with. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to go find this signal. There's one right there. There's a stronger one right there. Now when I have the shift on, I can move left to right of this signal. So what this is mainly for is, say if you've got a signal, two signals real close together, you can move a little bit to one side or the other and maybe eliminate some interference from a very close signal. 'Cause most typically your CW QSOs are going to roughly be about 300 hertz apart, 300 to 500 hertz apart. So this gives you a little bit of flexibility just to kind of move to one side or the other. Say if you got two signals real close together and you want to just move a little bit to one direction so you can kind of cut this other signal out of your bandpass, that will allow you to do that. So we'll set that back to 0, and I'm going to leave my width at 300. It's actually, let me make sure we're on narrow. Okay, there's wide. I'm going to bring that back down to 500. Switch back to narrow. Again, the narrow gives you 0 to 300, but if you want to switch it to wide, you can also adjust that up to 3000. So if you want to listen to a wider bandpass. So we'll turn that back to 300. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to show you was there's a couple of filters that you can actually use, high cut filters on the 991A, and I need to find a signal to kind of demonstrate this. So let's see if we can find something here that's talking. There we go. I'm going to press menu setup, and I'm going to go to number 50. Now right there, the low cut's set to 250. What I found was if I set it up to around 800, it helps. Kind of cuts out some of the background noise. There's a little bit more noise there. But if I cut that up to 800, his signal's still pretty good. But I got some of that lower noise out of there. Now the next one, I'm going to go ahead and press enter to save it. Well, first you'd hit select and then you dial in. Remember the default is 250, it's going to be blue. And I'm going to set this one to 800. Alright, the next one, I found this next one really doesn't make much difference. This low cut frequency, sorry, here we need to go to this slope here. I didn't really notice much difference between 18. It seemed like 18.6 has a little bit higher noise floor, not much. I'm just going to leave it on 18. That seems to work pretty good. Now the other one I had was the high cut filter. And this one here, I had found my setting here on the high cut filter. I actually found if I went down to around 700, that also cut just a little bit of the noise out. So we're going to leave that there. And then on the last one, number 53, I'm just going to leave it there. So remember when you want to change these, hit select, use the multifunction knob, and then press enter, and that'll save you changes. So those are my changes there. So the other thing, you've got two ways to control your volume on your radio. You've got your RF gain, you got your audio frequency gain. The other one that, say for example, you got a signal that's really, really strong and it's just killing you. You can always use the RF gain. See how I'm kind of lowering the signal a little bit? So if you got a signal that's just screaming, you know, you can cut back on the gain a little bit. Alright, so the next thing I want to show you is a thing called a bar peak meter hold. That is going to be setting number, I think it's number 9, memory setup. What this does is this allows you to hold, it's called a peak hold. So what it does is whenever you're getting a signal report from somebody, it leaves a little tiny line on the receive bar. Yeah, there it is, bar meter peak hold. So I'm going to change mine to 2 seconds. Now what we'll do is, let's go back and see, hopefully this guy cleared this out. See how the little line stays there? There's a little line that comes. See that little peak hold line? That allows you to kind of give a really good accurate signal report. Alright, so the other thing, what do we want to talk about next? I got 141 on my notes here, 141. 141, I had a note here. Oh yeah, tuner select. Say for example, if you didn't want to have your automatic tuner on, like with my Comet CH250, I don't really need the tuner. And say for example, if you wanted to disable the tuner, by default, this is going to be set to internal. You can have external. You can also use it with the ATIS, which is the auto-adjusting antenna system. But that's the default. But if I change this and I turn it off, then my tuner button is disabled. So you know, I've had, this radio's got some problems with the tuner. I think there's a grounding problem in there somewhere, and it every now and then it gets a little weird on me. So I guess at some point I'm gonna need to send it back. Let's see if we can work a call here real quick. The other thing I'll show you is when you see one of these big signals here, what you can do is, a lot of times there may be multiple signals in there. I always want to leave the speed on slow. You see where it says fast? I'm going to press that. Now it's off. It's in slow, meaning it only adjusts. The park's on the air. Let's see if we can work him real quick. Okay, well that's all I got. Let's see here if there's anything. We'll try to work a call here real quick. I'm using FL Digi here. What I find a lot of times is when you see a big signal here, and I've got, let me turn on amp 1. Sometimes I can get a little more. Alright, we're going to go a little higher. This guy up on SKCC real quick. He gave me a number of 29596T. I'm going to go back to IPO. See how I'm kind of, You can get right on top of his signal, eliminating any interference. Okay, let's see if we can work this guy. Alright, let's see if anybody calls CQ here. And this is the WIS winner. This is something what is that? Well, what have they got going on this weekend? It's the second weekend of every month. Weekend Sprintathon. It's a very short RST state. Yeah, it's going to be signal, state, name, and SKCC number. Alright, let's see if we can get this guy again. K2MMT. I'll try this, see if we can catch him again. Somebody else called him. He's in California, Landers. See if we can bring another station in. We need to go to wide. No, we'll go back to narrow. Looks like the band may have changed on us. Alright, well, we'll wrap it up. Doesn't look like a whole lot of hold. Hold on. Patience, patience. Let's try it again. He got us. Five times what we'll give him. All right. Always send it twice, slower. All right. All right, cool. He said thank you, so that was cool. Hey. All right, very good. Well, very good. All right, 73, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.